Hey, this is Ryan of Happy Healthy Vegan, doing another response to why I'm no longer vegan video, my second one in a row. Again, from the outset, I want to say that this is not an attack video. These never are. That haters say, oh, veganism is a cult and this is how you attack people that leave. No, I really don't care. If someone doesn't want to be vegan anymore, it's their life, their free will, they can make these decisions. But I just want to watch the videos to make sure that they're not throwing veganism under the bus on the way out. Do you get the distinction there, haters? Okay, so now back to our regular viewers here. What I'll be looking for, as always, are the reasons why they are no longer vegan. I want to see if there's some real reasons why someone can't be vegan, or are they just stating some problems that can be fixed. And here I am to give my 2 cents on how these problems can be fixed. I've never seen a reason why someone can't be vegan. And I want to say hello to Amber Alexander. She's the one that made this video. It sounds like, Amber, if you're watching, you may have even heard of us, because it sounds like you've been watching vegan YouTube for a while. And again, this is not an attack video. I just want to see what you have to say. And I want to say, you actually had one of the better Why I'm No Longer Vegan videos. You did the least amount of throwing under the bus, so, as I've seen anyone do. So congrats on that. And I really still think there's hope for you to be vegan. So everyone, watch along, and let's not be mean to Amber. Don't go to her comments and be nasty. Don't go to my comments and be nasty. Let's hold out some compassion for her that she'll find her way back.
I found veganism through What I Eat in a Day on YouTube. I was a young child trying to figure out what I should eat to lose weight. My goal was to lose weight when I really didn't need to lose weight.
Okay, right off the bat, yeah, we all know veganism is not about weight loss. If we look at the definition of veganism, it says nothing about losing weight or getting ripped or shedded. In fact, it makes no mention about your body's appearance or physique or anything like that. And as we'll see in a moment, she got into some vegan influencers who were overly, hyperly concerned about being skinny and all that kind of stuff.
I was following these crazy vegan people that were pushing high carb, low fat, raw till 4, 80, 10, 10, legitimately like pushing their young viewers to count their calories, make sure they weren't eating too many grams of fat every day. You can eat as many carbs as you want. As long as you eat no fat, you'll never gain weight. So I was like, okay, I'm doing it.
For anyone who's viewed vegan YouTube since around 2016, from what she's talking about there, who do you think she's talking about? Do you have some guesses? Comment down below.
And the only way you can track that is by downloading a calorie counting app. So I was using MyFitnessPal like crazy, trying to make sure I didn't break their rules. And that lasted for like years during my childhood and core development years.
So in my humble opinion, any vegan influencers that are having their followers do so much work like that, I mean, I've never done that once in my life. I've never spent a day tracking my calories or macros or anything like that. Anyway, why do that? What's the point to have your followers do that? Remember, we're vegan because we're against animal cruelty and exploitation, not because I want a thigh gap.
You might have heard the name Freely the Banana Girl. She's crazy. And Mr. and Mrs. Vegan, they're crazy. I was getting, wow. And both of them, I think, disappeared off of the face of the earth. I have no idea what they're up to now.
Yeah, unfortunately, people like that promoting restrictive ways of being vegan were kind of popular back in the early days of vegan YouTube. And I hope you don't associate us with them, Amber. Yes, I knew who these people were. And once I figured out what they're really about, we have blocked them all completely on all social media.
Because I was listening to so much nonsense online, I developed a legitimate oil phobia. I would read every nutrition label, and if it contained any amount of oil, even if it was the last ingredient, smallest amount, I would not eat it.
But I hope you understand, Amber, that these people that you found early on YouTube don't represent veganism. They're not like the president or ambassadors of veganism. In fact, most vegans have never even heard of these people. So just because you found some people who are giving you some questionable advice early on doesn't mean veganism is wrong or bad or something like that. Just don't follow them like you're doing now.
I was drinking smoothies, getting my greens in, and I think those foods were just really nourishing to me and gave me a lot of energy, but I pretty quickly lost the momentum of planning out my meals properly, so I ended up not eating enough because you have to eat kind of a lot of vegan food to get enough calories.
So now I'm confused by a couple things here. I'm not exactly sure what you mean about properly planning out your meals. There's really not that much to plan. Some people, not saying you, but some people make it sound like it's so difficult and technical and precise to plan out a healthy, balanced, nutritional, vegan meal plan or something like that. No, it's really not that difficult. And that bit about eating a lot of vegan food to get enough calories, I mean, that may be true if you're eating a really low-fat diet because fat as a macronutrient is about twice as calorically dense as protein and carbohydrates. Not to get too technical there, but yeah, I just eat till I'm full. That's what I've always done. If you eat till you're full, odds are you're probably eating enough food. And I'm 6'4", 197 pounds.
And later that year, I fell into a really deep depressive episode. Also don't know if that was veganism or a puberty thing.
I mean, please, vegans and non-vegans all can suffer from depression and other mental health issues, so please don't blame that on veganism. I don't think you were. I just want to say.
So that was my experience with my first year of veganism. Then towards the end of high school, I finally chilled out a bit. I started eating processed foods again. I relaxed about oil and sugar.
Good for you. That's the way. Break out of these kind of orthorexic behaviors, eating patterns that these early YouTube influencers often cause their followers to have, or enhance these attributes that their followers already may have. Yes, we promote eating a more just a regular, balanced, sensible vegan diet. And this is a path that can be sustainable for you. I'm surprised now that veganism is not going to work for you. What could go wrong?
And honestly, I was chilling, having a good time, being a chill, normal vegan until college started. And then I was sent to live in a dorm with no kitchen that I could cook in. I had to eat in the cafeteria every night, and the cafeteria just did not have adequate vegan options, and once again, I couldn't eat enough. So I was extremely tired, literally sleepwalking through every day just because I wasn't fueling my body properly.
Okay, so I'm obviously not in college anymore, guys, so I can't relate to this. So anyone who's college age, let me know what your guys' experience down in the comments. But I imagine they still have plants on the menu, right? I mean, you can eat more plants, or am I just being too simple-minded here? And if there's not enough plant options, this is a great opportunity as a vegan activist to step up and let people in the cafeteria department know that, hey, there's people who have allergies to meat and dairy, and you should be accommodating to them more. But anyway, let's continue on.
Also, a huge thing that veganism did was it gave me an excuse to starve myself.
What? You're not describing veganism there. This sounds like some kind of orthorexic behavior.
The deep, dark part of my brain loved having an excuse to say, oh, sorry, I can't eat that. Oh, sorry, I'm vegan, I can't eat that.
All right, Amber, you got me completely 100% confused and disagreeing with you here. As a vegan, if you're out in public and you see someone eating some hamburger or steak or something like that, I don't think ever oh, I can't eat that, I'm a vegan, meaning I really would want to eat it, I have some inner desire. No, I'm against all forms of animal cruelty and exploitation. That they're not eating food there, they're eating an animal's body. It's not even an option to be considered as something they need to put in my body. So no, that seems like the wrong kind of thinking, that anyone who believes that animal cruelty and exploitation is wrong. It's not an excuse. Those aren't foods.
Then COVID hit. Boom, I got sent home. It was a long year in quarantine. Gave me a lot of time to heal and self-reflect, as I'm sure a lot of us did during that time. And it was just a big year for internal growth for me. I came to a lot of realizations. As I shifted from a teenager to a young adult, my priorities changed. I cared more about how I felt rather than how I looked.
How you looked? I'm just curious, are you referring to veganism there? It sounds like you're talking about your early vegan influencers who are all about physical appearances. Remember, veganism has nothing to do with how you look, or even how you feel. It's a stance against animal cruelty and exploitation.
I was hanging out with my friends, we were getting dinner together, but during these really happy moments, veganism was still forcing me to restrict myself when I was eating with friends and just in general.
Veganism doesn't force anyone to restrict anything, Amber. If you truly, I sound like a broken record, I'm sure, but if you truly believe it's wrong to harm and exploit animals against animal cruelty, you're not forcing yourself to not consuming their dead bodies. You don't want to consume them. I don't understand this restrictive thing. There's nothing restrictive about consuming a product that you find inherently cruel, unless you don't find it inherently cruel.
In the past couple years, I'd felt like I'd healed so much, and I was just done with my era of restrictive eating, and I wanted it to be over with. I just wanted it out. I wanted to move on with my life. I wanted to be free, but being vegan was the last thing that was kind of holding me back.
So basically what I'm hearing here, and you guys can correct me down below, I'm trying to be as honest to Amber as I possibly can here. What I'm hearing is that you wanted to be free to eat anything you want. And that's not what veganism is. We're free to eat anything we want, but we don't want to eat animals. And apparently you want to eat them. So it sounds like to me, and this is based upon everything I'm hearing here, like your early influencers are all about being skinny and stuff like that. I'm hearing basically the words of someone who was following a vegan diet a plant-based diet, but not someone who is vegan. Remember, vegan means you are against animal cruelty and exploitation, but anyone could just eat a vegan or plant-based diet and not adhere to these moral beliefs.
When you're vegan, you have to check every single nutrition label to make sure it doesn't contain milk, eggs, whatever. You literally can't escape it if you're vegan. You need to check every food to make sure you can eat it.
So there is an ounce of truth to this. Yes, when you buy a new product that you're not familiar with, yeah, do check the label. But like in my personal experience, when we go to the market, we kind of buy the same stuff over and over again. I mean, you don't have to read any labels in the produce aisle. It's all produce. And if you buy a new processed food you haven't bought before, yeah, check the label. But we tend as human beings, vegans and non-vegans, to buy the same stuff over and over again. I mean, I can go to the market for months and never read a nutrition label because I already know what I'm buying. So anyway, I'm going to jump ahead in her video because my video is getting quite long, where she typed out a letter to get all her thoughts out so she can, best present her case to you guys why she's no longer vegan.
For the sake of my mental health, I simply can't spend any more time hyper-analyzing food in the way that veganism requires.
I'm sorry, that is not a requirement of veganism, to be hyper-analytical about everything you eat. You just avoid animal products. Once you get that system in place, it's actually quite easy and natural.
For my mental health, I need to eat in a way that is casual, non-analytic, and free. I've been vegan long enough to have a big impact. I don't have to be vegan 24/7 for the rest of my life to be a good person, to save the planet, etc. I care about the environment, but I also care about myself.
I see so many people confusing veganism as being some kind of environmentalist movement, and it does have environmental consequences. Again, it's a stance against animal cruelty and exploitation.
I find so much joy in cooking new meals, trying out new ingredients. I found so much joy in eating Doritos for the first time in 7 years.
Well, you didn't have to quit being vegan to eat Doritos. There are several flavors of Doritos that are completely vegan.
I want to live a sustainable future. I want to grow my own food in a huge garden so I can have the smallest impact possible on our planet.
Cool, that's nice, but again, that's not what veganism is.
But for my own mental health, especially right now while I'm in college, I want to be able to eat food without restricting myself. I want to eat food with my friends.
Eating food with your friends? Well, here's just a little tip. If you're not aware, there's an app called Happy Cow. Anywhere in the world, you could find not only just vegan restaurants, but non-vegan restaurants that have vegan options, so everyone can go out together and get something cruelty-free or with cruelty if you prefer.
I've loved being vegan. I love vegan food. I know you can be vegan without using it to fuel disordered eating. I know you can be vegan without feeling the burden that I felt. But in order for me to heal, I needed to step away from behaviors that were triggering me and pushing me further down a hole that I was trying to escape. I've battled this decision for so long because I've been truly passionate about the ethics of veganism since I first started researching it 7 years ago. But being vegan isn't the solution to every global crisis.
Well, once again, veganism is not the solution to global crises. If there's any one global crisis that veganism directly addresses, it's the crisis of 80 billion animals being needlessly slaughtered every year so people can enjoy their meat and stuff.
There are ways to be sustainable without being vegan.
Once again, you're confusing veganism with some other sustainability issue.
You can live off the land, eat eggs from backyard chickens, and use leather to create clothes and furniture that will last way longer than its faux counterparts.
Yes, there's all sorts of things people can eat and create by exploiting and killing animals, which vegans are against.
It isn't so black and white. I understand that now. I know where my priorities are. I know what sustainability, health, and animal welfare means to me. But I've also learned what self-love, grace, patience, and boundaries mean for me too. I need to keep myself well-fed, happy, and at the very least, functioning at a healthy level. My health comes first. Also, when in doubt, it's always better to have a diverse diet with lots of variety.
Well, that's ironic. I mean, most people I know, myself included, eat a much more diverse diet with much more variety once we go vegan. We discover all the many plants that are delicious and available that we, for some reason, ignored beforehand. But yeah, not consuming animal product doesn't mean our diet's restrictive. Just a few animals that people eat, and we just don't eat them. But there's still tens of thousands of plants we eat. So no, it's not restrictive.
I feel more relaxed and excited in my day-to-day. My relationship with food has been neutralized. I know most of my viewers are either my age or younger. I want all of you to know you deserve better than to use food as a weapon or a punishment for yourself.
Well, yes, of course, and veganism does none of that stuff.
Food is just food.
Well, no, animals aren't food. They're living sentient beings that don't want you to eat them, and you don't need to eat them.
It doesn't have to be glamorous. It should not rule your life. You deserve to eat.
And likewise, animals don't deserve to die needlessly for your food freedom and taste pleasures.
I don't think this transition is too big of a deal, honestly, because I know how important it is to me. I just wanted to make this video to explain my journey and show you guys that what you eat doesn't have to be a big deal.
Well, I can agree with that statement on one hand. Yes, you should be able to eat a balanced, sensible, healthy diet rather than follow some restrictive vegan fitness influencer. But what you eat is a big deal in the sense that if you are choosing intentionally to consume dead animals, you're contributing to animal cruelty intentionally. And that's never what a vegan does. Just by, again, definition of veganism, we are against animal cruelty and exploitation, but we need to eat food. And the only foods that are consistent with our moral views are plants and fungi. So yeah, what you eat is a big deal. Do you want to intentionally choose cruelty continually every day, or do you choose to eat plants instead? So in conclusion, after hearing everything Amber said here, I honestly don't see any problems she raised that was so great that she couldn't go back to being vegan. Yeah, sure, she might have to make a few adjustments, like say going out with friends, getting that wired, but I really don't see why you can't be vegan, Amber. And if you, hopefully you felt I gave you a fair exposition here. Yes, I'm quite passionate about what I do. Obviously, that's why I've had a YouTube channel since 2013. But if you ever want to have a conversation in private, Amber, I'm more than happy to have one with you. You probably don't want to anyway. It sounds like you're probably set in your ways here. If you'd like to, I'm here. You can reach out. I'll be more than happy to have a chat with you. So anyway, guys, hit like, hit share, become a channel member, click all that stuff up there. And until remember next time, don't suck being vegan.